and possibly in solving the scenario problems. So I get that, but let me have a look with you, please, on the exercises side. So the exercises that you passed to me actually got slight comments. Okay, so this is the same function. He asks you to create the same function that returns true if value a is the same like value b, when b is rounded to the nearest whole number, and return false otherwise. So I noticed, Tego, I want you to please, I want you to pay attention to that. I think maybe you are fast enough and you don't really look so deeply here. So I am not able to put my hand exactly why is that. I mean, there is a lot of possibilities in my mind. It could be that you don't have really time. That's a different story. There's no problem with that. But I just, my only worry that you don't go, you don't look into details in the question. In this, I will assume that. Okay, so okay, I would say, so return true, you put 1 if the value of a is the same as value of b. Okay, then when b is rounded, so this is 2, so it means that you have to make sure that b is rounded. So this is second requirement. Okay, and then rounded to the nearest whole number and false otherwise. This is 3. So you need to either give true or false. Okay, and I would say that you have to round b. He's requesting that, and I don't see that you, this is your answer. So I don't see that you rounded b, which is number 2 in this case.
Yes, I was going to ask you about this. I wasn't sure how, if you could use the round function in pseudocode and how it would look.
Okay, let me see. Wow, this is quite strange. I supposed to put okay, so let me get you what the book says about the round. So round. Okay, I thought I did put that in the solution here. Let me copy it here. Copy. So yeah, okay, actually I just, sorry, I missed that. So actually, yes, you're able to use round, but you cannot use it on an integer. You have to use it on a real. So it means it means that this also cannot be an integer. It had to be a real.
Okay.
Okay, so and real is a float in Python. In this case, yes. So possibly that a is just an integer because he didn't ask us to round it. And since he asked us to round this, it means that he needs them to be both integers to be able to compare them. Okay, so just here, if you just add round and you round it to 0, so that it means that, so if you round it, you know, it's a function of round, right? What they do?
Yes, it rounds it to the nearest whole number.
Okay, so yeah, so if you round it to 0, then it will give you just this integer value, and then it will you're able to compare it and return true and false, and it will work. So your code is just only missing that you add round function. Is that clear?
Okay.
Does this make
Yes.
sense? Okay, perfect. We move to the next. Okay, let me see here. So again, we want to find a common end function, giving it, you are giving a 2 arrays, and let me clear that, sorry. So Tego, here you are giving 2 arrays, A and B, and you should return true. This is 1. If they have the same first element, this is 2. Second condition, or they have the same last element. This is, I would say, 3. Both arrays will be lengths 1 or more. Okay. So first of all, I would say you still sometimes mixing between the pseudocode and the Python. I wish that they don't stress too much requirement on the pseudocode so that you don't lose a lot of marks. So you can't use minus here in pseudocode.
Okay.
You have to use lens. So the only way for you to reach the end of the array is to use a lens. So using lens or even using so lens and 0 give you the first and the last element in the array. So, and you have to remember lens, not lens minus 1, because in pseudocode we start counting from 1. Okay, so if it is and so this have to be 1 basically, because typically in pseudocode we count from 1, not 0. In Python we count from 0. So here have to be lengths of the array. So this should be length of A, and this should be length of B instead of -1. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And other than that, I believe I have no comments here. Yeah, so I don't have any comment other than using length. And so len in Python and lens in pseudocode. Other than that, should be fine. So we go to the third one. Let me try here. So am I moving so fast today?
No, no, it's fine.
Okay. So okay, same to function. Given an array of integers, it returns the sum of first two elements. Okay, first two elements. This one. Okay, if the array length is less than 2, okay, that's the second condition, second part we need to look at. Just sum up the elements that exist, returning 0 if. So sum up, we need to do something here. We need to sum up the elements that exist, returning 0 if the array length is 0. So if it is 0, we don't need to do anything, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's 4. Okay, so you are giving here an array, and it is 3. It's got 3 elements. Okay, and this is your answer. And I would say, let me read my. So there is many ways to solve that, but I just want the shortest way. So yeah. Okay, yeah. So I don't want to get you into too much details. Actually, there can be a very short version of that code, but I don't want to confuse you. Now it's time just to focus to retouch what you do. So let me think with you. If it is less than 2, do you still remember what we need to do? If it is less than 2, we count 1 and 2. So it's actually no. Wait. If it is if I don't have an array like that, and
Yeah.
we have let me see here, please. We have 1, 2, 3. So here we have 1, 2, and 3. And if it is less than 2, it means that it only have 1 element. Am I right? So this is 1. We count from 1, 2, and 3. Let me put here 5. I don't want to
Is it
put
possible for it to have no elements?
again.
Is it possible for it to have no elements in the array as well?
No, I sorry, you're not really clear to me. Can you repeat again slowly?
Is it possible for the array to have only one element?
Yes, why not?
To have no elements, 0 elements.
Yes, he can. He can pass. He can initialize the array and just don't put anything inside. Yes, it's possible.
Okay.
So he can pass you an array. So an empty array. So yes, it's typical. Yeah. So if I initialize the array, I don't put anything inside, or even so in Python code, it will be you can have something that is like that. Okay, this is 0, and then if you put like that, so it only have 1 element. Yes, it's possible. Okay, so the thing here that he tell you, if it is less than 2, then you should sum whatever available. So less than 2, it means that it only have 1. So you just need to return 1. But the point here that you put the thing here that you put wrongly here. It means that if it is less than 2, you need to go through a counter. But if it is less than 2, you only have to return 1. So you should change that to bigger than. So if it is bigger than 2, you really need to count how many. He said to you, count the first 2. Sorry, I have to remove that. Sorry. Yeah. So he said, return the sum of the first 2 elements. First 2 elements. If the array is less than 2. Oh. Sorry, that's a confusion on my side. Wait, return the sum of the first 2 elements in the array if the array is less than 2. Okay, so that's a confusion on my side. So you have to, what you did is actually correct. You add the first part and second part, yes, except that you just need to do you need to add whatever array here using the first index and the second index, because that's how we do it in pseudocode. But let me pass and then sum up the elements that exist. Okay, if the array is less than 2, just wait. Return the sum of the first 2 elements in the array. Okay, give me the array. Return if the array is less than 2, just sum up whatever happened. Sorry. Sorry, I do it very fast that I also confuse you and myself again. So what we were talking. So what did you understand from now, so that I don't have to repeat it again and make you more confused? What did you understand now, so I can fix it for you?
That I need to, in terms of like what the question's asking for.
Is it confusing to you?
No, it's not. Well, I don't think it was.
Okay, so you have to return the first 2 elements in any condition, except if the array is less than 2. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so here, see here, like I told you, if it is less than 2, you have to return what you did here is correct. Okay, except that you just need to put here, instead of 0, you have to put 1, and instead of 1, you have to put 2. So that is if it is less than 2, but if it is bigger than 2, you have to sum what? What did he say here?
First 2.
If the array, so return the sum of the first 2 in any way, but if it is less than 2, just sum up the elements that exist. So again, yeah, sorry for the confusion. Okay, that's it's very strange. Actually, it is a standard question, but okay. Actually, what you need to return, if it is less than 2, which is the else case, you have to return this only 1 if it is less than 2. Okay, and there is no need to sum anything, because it's already, there is only one element. It's less than 2. Okay, so 5 and 2 and 3, for example. Okay, so if it is less than 2, it means that it's only have 1, so you just return it 1. And the thing that you have an issue here, that you make it less than 2, and then you need to go through a counter. But again here, you don't need a counter actually, or even if you want to make it a counter, it's fine. But you cannot make it to length. You have to make it to 2. He only want 2 elements. He only want you to add 2 elements. So what you wrote here, actually, you could have moved here. You can write a for loop. It's fine. It's acceptable. But you cannot make it to the length. If it is 4, you will be adding the 4 elements. If it is 3, you'll be adding the. So this for loop will add everything inside. Okay.
But it was only for when it's less than 2. So it would just be 1 or 0, I thought.
Yes, I understand. But if it is bigger than 2,
then yes.
Okay, I understand your condition. What you have done here, work it with your if statement. Yes, I understand that, but it cannot, because he tell you if it is less than 2, then add whatever you have. Whatever you have is only one element, so you have to return it here. But if it is bigger than 2, so you have to add you get the first 2. So that's why you have to change here. So is that clear? I don't want to repeat myself too much, not to add more confusion. So clear? Should pass it on?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see here. Okay, so that is the scenario question that you solved in Python. That was the last weeks. So we didn't have a chance to look at it previously. So what I would say here, okay, in general, your code is fine. Let me see here. Did I put? Okay, yeah. So of course, I divided your code here into a few pieces. So the first piece is so first of all, the guy asked you to create everything in the under this menu in a procedure. It means that if he asks you to display the balance, it means that when he choose when he pass a choice to you here, then you have to call a display balance procedure or function. If he asks you to withdraw, so where did I see that? Actually, it is here. So, okay, first, okay, he asks you to display suitable error messages must be displayed if a withdrawal cannot take place. So he asked to display error messages, and he asks you to check the limits if it is exceeded. And then he asks you here, you must use a pseudocode, okay, and explain how it works. All inputs and outputs must contain suitable messages. So always you need to use suitable messages. You only need to declare, okay, let me see. Okay. Okay, so display a menu showing the focus actions available. Well, I can't see that. So each action is completed by a procedure with a parameter of the account ID. So that is the difference. So that is the difference between your code and what is here required. And this is typically exam question, not me design. I mean, I don't put a hand there. Okay, so
Okay.
your code definitely will lose some marks because you didn't use. Yes, a part of your code is working and it can work. That's fine. Yes, so some of your code you have to put this kind of if statement to check if the password account ID and the password or the username or the password is fine or not. And if it is fine or valid, then you are able to make a return function that makes this people able to display a menu, because he said you cannot enter the menu without having the password and username done correctly. So you see here, he asks you to check the account ID exists and the name and password entered by account holder match the name and password entered in account before any action takes place. So yes, you have done it here, but you need to do it with a procedure in a way that you only can call this kind of function to display the menu if this is a return valid or true. Is that clear to you?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we move to the next. My comment here, the guy asks you to do a lot of checks, actually. He asks you to show error messages also. So again, here, you do an if statement, which is nice, but you never put an else for this if statement. So it means that if the password and username is not correct, you will never show anything to the user because there is no else. Okay, but again, I'm not telling you a fixed solid remarks that depend on the question that the guy already asked you. You need to tell the user, oh, the password doesn't match, and you will exit. You will not show him the menu. You have to, oh, please enter a correct username or password. Okay, and it's possible. You just you have to loop inside. It's possible to loop. So again, it's possible to loop, and if it is required. But I am sure here I can remember correctly. Let me see. So Tigu, he asked, you must add comments. You will lose mark if you don't add comments. All inputs and outputs must contain suitable messages. So all your input, you must tell with a print statement. If the input is not within the certain expected range, you have to tell the user. If the password fail, you have to tell the user. If the user input a value, if you're expecting an amount in positive and the user put a negative value, you have to tell the user. So that cannot be without if statements. I will show you how. So he is asking to display the menu and choose from, allow an action to be chosen and completed, each action with a parameter ID. Yeah. So actually the ideal, yeah. So let me see here. I want to tell you what exactly. Yeah. So for choice two actually here. So choice two is display balance is okay. It's fine. It's just a straightforward thing. You just need to read from the array, and then you can give him. But if you want to withdraw money, that is a lot of things that you need to check. So Tego, we have to close and open again.